Hi, and welcome to CREW Up, CP's quarterly podcast series with CREW Network leaders. I'm senior editor Laura Calugar. March is the perfect time to get to know exceptional women that have left their mark in the commercial real estate industry. Cindy MacMillan is Vice President of Asset Management at Grosvenor, a property owner, investor, and developer with 7 decades of experience in North America. She's also the president of CREW Network, having served the organization for the past 10 years as CREW Vancouver member. Curious to hear more about her successes, ambitions, and the latest from CREW Network? Then keep listening. Hi, Cindy. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Laura.
First, tell me a bit about yourself and your professional path. Did you choose real estate or was it completely fortuitous?
It was very fortuitous for me. I've been in this industry for 20 years now, but I joined as a corporate accountant when I was looking for a role with an organization that was located downtown Vancouver, where I'm based, Vancouver, Canada. And I wanted an organization that was growing, that was dynamic, that was doing something exciting. And a recruiter placed me in this firm and I joined. And it was a commercial real estate development firm, fully integrated. So they did everything in-house. And I was immediately enamored and fascinated. At the time, it was a much smaller organization. So you really got to know everyone, all the different disciplines, what they did on the day-to-day. And that was sort of the start of my love of commercial real estate. And I was able to continue on there for the next 18 years and carry on from there.
And today, what do you like most about your current role at Grosvenor?
Grosvenor is an incredible company. It's a 1,000-year-old company, which means we have a long-term view on everything that we do. And property, commercial real estate is just one of the various business lines that we undertake. And so our purpose is really to deliver lasting commercial, social, and environmental benefit on the world through all of our business lines. And what that gives us that's a little bit different than other development companies is this ability to be really innovative, to take a step back and look at how this is going to impact the world for the next 1,000 years. We're very conscientious of our bottom line, but all of our decisions aren't necessarily driven just by the numbers. It's really, what is our impact? Are we being innovative? Are we being leaders in things like sustainability and social impact? So it's a really incredible company to work for because it's a very fulfilling job in that you actually see the results and see the benefit and know that you're setting things up for a long time.
And when you look back on your career or your work history, what would you say was a formative moment for you?
Definitely having good people around me that have been able to shepherd me in different directions or champion me. And two come to mind. One was the person, as I mentioned, I joined as a corporate accountant, didn't really know what commercial real estate was completely fascinated by it, and took an interest in commercial leasing. And the leader of that department at the time took a chance on me about 3 years into my role and gave me an opportunity to join that department because I was so excited, really knowing nothing about real estate. And she mentored me and, helped me grow and learn and really, set me off on my career path now that's really taken me to where I am today. And I'd say the other person was a gentleman named Bill, and he just had an incredible leadership style of this calmness and ability to make everyone think that it was going to be okay and he could diffuse any situation and just get down to business and get deals done. And it was just so beautiful to watch. And I try and incorporate that into my own leadership style. And he was also a really great champion of me. And it was the first time I experienced really having someone stand up and promote you and, really
Believe
just
in
want
you.
to believe in you and want to see you succeed, and how much that impacted me. I realize, I want to give that back to giving that to individuals that are looking up to me in my career.
And after 20 years in the business, would you say it's difficult to succeed as a woman in commercial real estate? Do you have any advice for women facing setbacks and experiencing frustration in their career. You were lucky from what you told me.
Yeah, there's definitely still barriers, and there was a lot more barriers 20 years ago. I do think that I was lucky having great people who could champion and mentor me. And I think that that would be the advice that I would give is, find those people who will stand up for you and believe in you and help you along in your career because they're so important. And I mean, that's really advice no matter what gender you are.
Right.
But certainly there are barriers for women that still exist that are challenging. And what I would say is get educated on those, understand what those are, understand your own biases and how those impact your day to day in business, and then try and educate those around you. Because most of the time that I've encountered, a lot of professionals don't see those barriers. They don't understand or are aware of what those are. And once you bring those to light, they're more able to come in and help you navigate those or support you in that.
Mhm.
So I think awareness is a really big factor in some of these barriers that exist for women.
When and how did you discover Crew Network, and how has the organization shaped your professional advancement?
I found CREW through, again, the woman who brought me over from accounting into commercial leasing was a founder of the Vancouver chapter of CREW.
Hmm.
And so she was, very involved and a big supporter and said, you have to join. And I did join. And then along the way, other crew members and leaders who would tap you on the shoulder and say, I think you should join a committee and you should get more involved. And it was really when I did that that I really saw the benefits of my involvement with CREW increase dramatically. I met friends, had contact with idols and mentors. It created job opportunities and really raised my visibility in the industry as well. And you learn new skills because you're put into committees where you're maybe doing event planning
Of
or
course. Hmm.
membership, and so it just gives you this opportunity to flex and grow your own skill set in a way that you wouldn't necessarily have access to in your normal day-to-day job.
And as president, what goals have you set for the organization, for yourself at Crew this year? I know the organization is always trying to expand. Is this one of your targets?
It is, and two big things I think this year. The organization's going through a bit of a shift right now. We're currently looking for a new CEO, and
Hmm.
so we've got an executive search firm who's currently completing that search. We are aiming to have somebody new on board about mid-time this year, so around June 2025. And really one of my goals is just to successfully onboard that person into the organization. Again, they're gonna help shape the organization for the next 10 or so years and really getting them off to a good start, arming them with the information and tools that they need to be successful in their role is something that I'm really looking to achieve myself this year. And in terms of looking to expand, this has been a global expansion strategy, has been something that the organization has been focused on for about the last 5 years, and will continue to do that. And that's really, we really believe in the platform that we have, delivering on our mission of advancing women in commercial real estate across our full pillars. It really is a robust platform that's very sophisticated. And we want to bring that to every woman in commercial real estate globally. We want them to have the opportunity to come in, access professional networks, get professional development and learnings, have career outreach, and access our research that's really important, again, in bringing that awareness and educating people on what the barriers are and how we can accelerate advancement of women.
Hmm. Besides searching for a new CEO, which is a huge change for Crew, I know 2025 is another year for a benchmark study. I remember the previous one because I had a guest from Crew here who told me all about the findings of the previous study. So I know this is a benchmark study that you do every 5 years. It measures progress for women and benchmarks diversity in commercial real estate. How is this effort going, and how can those who listen to this podcast contribute?
It's going well, and many of our peer organizations, such as ICSC, NAOP, SIOR, also push this survey out to their members because we want as many data points as possible, and we want as many people to fill out the survey so that we can continue to collect that information, use that, and not only look backwards at the progress that we've made, but it helps us set our strategy going forward in, where are the gaps, where are we falling behind, what's working, and where can we put more energy into. So it really is such an important benchmark study and such a key piece of research for women and for the entire commercial real estate industry. So our goal this year is to have a minimum of 3,000 professionals globally fill out the
Hmm.
survey. It's open until March 31st, so listeners can definitely help by going to crewNetwork.org and participating in the survey before March 31st. Takes about 15 minutes. Everyone is welcome, males, females, any age group, any point in your career. Everyone's welcome to fill out the survey so long as you're a professional in commercial real estate.
Great. Speaking of progress for women and diversity, some large corporations have announced their plans to scale back on DI efforts, both in terms of public-facing mentions of DI and internal programs focusing on diversity. Of course, this is all in light of the latest anti-DI directives coming from the new White House administration. What's your take on this? How should corporate real estate leaders react?
Yeah, our take on this in terms of CREW Network is that our mission hasn't changed. We're here to advance women in commercial real estate. Diversity and inclusion are part of our key goals and values and how we have done business for the last over 30 years. So that's not going to change. Um, it's a really interesting time because there are some implications to organizations if they're using certain language or practicing in certain things, and there's not a lot of clarity around it. So what we are seeing is some organizations are changing the language. So you're not changing the action, you're just changing the language. So instead of calling it DEI, they're calling it impact. And that's fine. What we just want organizations to continue to advance women and look at these initiatives. For those that are taking away initiatives and taking away funding, I think that's really unfortunate, and time will tell, but I do think that they will fall behind because we've got research and data that shows more diverse organizations and workforces and leadership groups really do impact the bottom line positively. So,
Exactly.
that's the argument for doing it. That hasn't changed for us, and we're going to continue in our diversity, equity, inclusion efforts.
Yeah, there's data that backs this up, so it makes sense to continue doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
One last question. I know that you recently represented the organization as CREW Network president at MIPIM, the 4-day property and real estate event in France that brings real estate professionals from all over the world in one place where they network and they share ideas. What are your takeaways from that event? What would you say is the general sentiment toward real estate?
It was a fascinating event for me. It was my first time attending MIPIM, and this year's attendance, I think, was around 20,000 people from what I heard. And it's gotten as big as, 40,000, 50,000 in the past. So it's still a very large conference, but it seemed to be a much smaller conference. And some of the narrative I heard around that was market conditions. They're down across the globe, so some people decided not to come. The weather was also really bad at MIPIM this year, and some more local people, I think, last minute just decided not to come because they didn't want to have to break out their umbrellas. What it really made me realize is the world is a really big place, and there's a lot of land out there with a lot of different types of real estate projects. And when you look at what's going on in places like, Saudi Arabia with their giga projects that are just insanely large, we look at
Yeah.
our master plan communities in North America or, redevelopments of certain neighborhoods throughout Europe. And it's just nothing in comparison. And it's almost mind blowing just how big they are. But on the same chord, you look at them and you look at, say, the residential portions of these big giga projects, and the amenities packages are the same, and what they're trying to achieve with their real estate is the same that's happening everywhere else in the world. So it also makes the world feel like a very small place, in that, real estate is real estate. You can pick up a project and put it anywhere, and it really is the same sort of thing. So that was just an interesting nuance to pick up. But if anyone is curious, I'd say go check out those projects, because they're just fascinating
And huge, yeah.
and huge.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for sharing your thoughts with our listeners. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
It was my pleasure, and likewise.
Thank you all for listening. If you liked this episode, please rate and review it on the podcast platform you're using. For the latest news, trend stories, and podcasts, check out cpexecutive.com every day. Now you can also share your own voice with our audience through the CP Executive Council, a platform dedicated to CRE leaders who want to stay in touch with each other and discuss trends and issues affecting the real estate industry. All these valuable insights are regularly posted on our website. So if you're interested in having your voice heard, just click on the CP Executive Council button at the bottom of our homepage. Till next time.